Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have the cutest Easter / springtime dessert to share with you guys. Not only is it super easy, super fast, but it also is budget friendly and will definitely impress everyone. All right, if you're new here, hello, I'm Claire, welcome. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. Today I'm in the kitchen, one of my favorite places. I recently was thinking that with this great weather and with the Easter holiday coming up, that I really wanted to find something dessert-wise that I had never done before. I especially thought this recipe would be good for springtime because it is a beautiful wreath made of pastry and cream and berries and is way easier than it sounds. All right, you guys, let's get started on this wreath. It's gonna be amazing. All right, for this recipe, you are going to need berries of your choice, some sugar, some powdered sugar, heavy whipping cream, a package of puff pastry sheets, as well as a lemon. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start with our puff pastry. This was only $3 today at my local grocery store, so super cheap. And there are 2 sheets. You're gonna need both of them, but we're only gonna work with one at a time. Put the other one back in the fridge while you're using the first. You really do wanna keep these cool for optimal flaky layers. In order to shape our wreath, I actually Googled how to do this and it turned out really amazing. They come folded in thirds and you're gonna make cuts right along those folds, so pretty easy. It's already sort of measured out for you. And then you're gonna go ahead and cut those strips in half again so that you have 6 strips in total. Now you're gonna take one of your strips and cut it into 2 pieces. One piece, the larger piece, should be about 2/3 of the strip, and then the smaller piece should be about 1/3. Now it is time to assemble your ring. Just watch what I do here. It's hard to explain it into words, but you're just going to pinch it together, and you are going to use 3 strips plus your longer third, 2/3, to make this sort of outer ring. And then you are going to throw in those other 3, 2 1/3 strips on the inner part, and you're just going to use your fingers to pinch it together. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be super smooth. The thing that's most important is if it is circular and wreath-like. You really do want it to look like a beautiful wreath, so just try to mold it the best you can so that it is a nice circle. And you're gonna pop that in your oven for, well, honestly, to me it took about 20 minutes. The package said about 16 to 18, but this took about 20 minutes in my oven at 375. You'll know that it's done because it's nice and brown and crisp on the top. Oh, it smelled so good. And now I'm actually just going to do the exact same thing with my other crust that's been sitting in the fridge. So I'm just gonna do it all again. If you had 2 pans, you could probably do it at the same time, but you know me, I do not have excessive amounts of anything pretty much. So I only have 1 circular pan. And while that second one is baking, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my berries. Strawberries were on sale today for 99 cents a container, so of course I selected strawberries. And I thought strawberries would be perfect too because I am going to actually use them in the shape of a flower. I used almost this entire carton. About half of them I'm just chopping up into little bits. And then I'm using the other half and just slicing them very thinly. These are going to turn into our petals when we go to assemble it. I also thought that raspberries would have looked really nice on here, or blackberries, or any sort of fruit probably would be good. I bet mandarin oranges, the slices would make a really good sort of florally type pattern. I think it's kind of easy to turn fruit into a flower, so leave me your best ideas down below of fruits that look like flowers. I'd love to hear them because this was so easy. I'll definitely make it again. Now that these are both done, I'm gonna let them cool all the way, and while they are cooling, we're gonna go ahead and whip up our cream. I am using a KitchenAid stand mixer, but you can use a hand mixer. It's not necessary. So I am doing 3/4 of a cup of just regular sugar. I'm also adding in just a little squeeze of lemon juice. I find that the lemon really brings out the great flavor of the berries. This type of dessert, throw some lemon in there, trust me. I'm also adding 2 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. A trick to make this work every time is throwing your heavy whipping cream in your freezer for a few minutes before you go to whip it. I also kept my whisk attachment in the freezer. If you're using a hand mixer, go ahead and throw your beaters in the freezer before you start. You can also beat it in a bowl that's been in the freezer, and you can also beat your cream over a bowl of ice if you have a problem with it like seizing up on you. That always works for me. I find that with the KitchenAid stand mixer, I never have a problem. It always whips up perfectly every time. All right, so to assemble this wreath, I am using a pastry bag. I got this set on Amazon. I'll link it down below if you are interested in getting one, because I've been really happy with this kit and all the different tips. I'm actually using like a perfectly like circular round tip just because I think that it makes the edges look like really finished or whatever. I know that's a little crazy, but that's where I'm at here, but you definitely don't need one. You could use a spoon, a spatula, like a butter knife. Like, this is totally optional. You can even throw the cream in a Ziploc bag and just do like a makeshift piping bag if you wanted to. This is definitely optional. And I'm just doing 2 little rounds here of my delicious whipped cream. And then I'm gonna use a spatula to smooth it out. This is a really good opportunity if you have any like unevenness in your ring. Throw a little extra whipped cream over the areas that are a little bit low. Use this to sort of level your wreath out because you definitely don't want a lopsided wreath. So you can just create that extra height you need in some spaces with the whipped cream. Now I'm just throwing my strawberry bits and a couple little blueberries in there, just for like a nice little surprise on the inside of some fruit. And I'm also going to put 1 more little strip of cream on top of there because I do want it to like stick really well. And the fruit can, when it's wet, that won't stick very well to the top of the wreath. So just like for glue, you know. Now I'm gonna throw the top of the wreath on, trying to set it down as nicely as possible. You see what I mean by those edges? They just look smooth and nice. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm basically gonna do the exact same thing again on the top, and don't worry about making it look like super perfect. It's supposed to look like, you know, a little bit rustic and whatnot. Honestly, real wreaths are made of flowers, which are very rustic, so you know, don't be mad at yourself if it's not like perfectly a circle. And this honestly was my favorite part of this whole thing. I found it to be very like fun and creative, and that was making flowers out of my strawberries. And of course, real flowers and real wreaths have all sorts of like petals and greenery and things that go all around. So you really could get creative with this. You could make it as neat or as wild as you wanted. You don't have to put this much effort in. You could do the same thing on the top as you did in the center if you wanted to. It would still definitely look like a wreath. But you know me, I got into it a little bit, so I ended up making it very flowery. And to finish off, I'm actually going to add just a little bit of powdered sugar. This is optional, and because my fruit was open and wet, the powdered sugar basically dissolved when it hit the top of those strawberries, but it looked beautiful on top of the blueberries, and a bit went onto the pastry, and I just think it adds just a little bit extra, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And seriously, you guys, have you ever seen such a beautiful, homemade, easy dessert? Oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous and so appealing and perfect for this time of year. You have no idea how much time I spent sitting there and photographing it for my Instagram. And the layers are just beautiful in there. That puff pastry gave us amazing layers. I'm just obsessed. All right, you guys, didn't I tell you this was the easiest recipe ever. Obviously, you could make it more complicated if you wanted to make your own puff pastry, or you could make it even less complicated and you could just buy like a tub of Cool Whip instead of whipping up your own cream. However, I think that this is the perfect combination of effort and convenience. So let me know if you're gonna give this a try. I also would love to hear any variations that you maybe can think of with fruit or jams or whatever, you know. Anything springy. Of course, remember to subscribe and to like and to share and all of those great things that help me grow. And come back for more. I post new videos every Friday and every Sunday, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
So good.
It's gone already? Oh my God.